Hello everyone, this is Julia again with Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition. Today is the 10th edition, and I'm really excited to host and interview an alumni of the boot camps from last year. So this young lady is actually a food and climate shaper who graduated last year. She went and for some reason it doesn't allow me to add her to the conversation. That's not a good sign. Anyway, I will just keep talking about these sessions till I solve this problem. But Marina, I can definitely see you. For some reason I cannot invite you to be live with me at this stage. So if you have any chance to try to join yourself through call to action on the bottom of the page, please try. Otherwise, I will ask you. Oh, there we go. Yes, we are now. Should load. We are waiting for Marina to join. There we go.
Hello. I sent you I asked for the invitation. That's why maybe you could ask me.
Oh, wait a second. For some reason, I don't hear you very well.
Oh,
Now, all good, all
okay.
good. Everything is
Okay.
solved. Okay, a bit of a technological issue. So
Yeah.
now I didn't even finish the introduction. So basically these sessions we host twice a week, once on Tuesday and once on Thursday. The time differs to make sure that we cover all of the time zones, because the alumni of the educational programs run by a Future Food Institute are actually all over the world. These sessions are pretty short, so 30 minutes. You will get to know the former students of these programs, their story, what is their connection to the Future Food Institute, how did their journey continue after the programs they attended, and how is their local food system. I was really excited to meet today's alumna in person this year. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances named COVID-19, I am not sure that this will happen in 2020, but we are still aiming to make this happen in 2021. She has attended a previous boot camp, which was organized by the Institute and FAO, and she was lucky enough to go and visit our friends in Iceland. And after all the inspiration, becoming a climate shaper, she decided that she wants to host a boot camp in her hometown, namely Marettimo. This is such a beautiful place. Unfortunately, I only saw it through pictures, but I will make sure that I will end up, at one point, I will come and see it with my own eyes. So thank you for joining today, Marina. Could you please
Thank
introduce
you.
yourself?
Thank you, Julia, for the invitation. You already introduced me very well. I am Marina Lipari. I am from Marettimo, this little island in the Mediterranean. It's a very small island, and for this reason, it's connected to your program, to the Future Food Institute's program, Smart Oceans, related to the importance of water to our ecosystem. This is why last year I had the chance to get a scholarship from two women, Cettina Spadaro and Beatrice Just, who are organizing together with the Institute next Future Food boot camp here in Marettimo. And for me, it was such an amazing experience in Iceland, because we were in Thingari, a very small place where we had this amazing connection to nature and to the place that was very similar to that you feel here in Marettimo. So this was amazing.
Nice. So this scholarship, what you received for the program, I know that you were born in Marettimo, so that's one of the connections.
Yeah.
But what was your relation to food? Why was this so exciting for you to join such a program? What were you expecting before even going on this journey?
At the beginning, I didn't expect that it would be so interesting because I didn't knew the program. I didn't know the program, but during the week we had the opportunity to hear from to listen to a very important professor who had done environmental study, who taught in Hungary or in Iceland, or in Reykjavik at the University of Reykjavik. So for me, I admit it was a new subject because I study international relations, and I mean I care about our planet and sustainability, but I didn't know the mechanism. I didn't know it very well, so I I took a lot of lessons, and it was very strange to see how a small place like Hungary could be so innovative, because I learned about coming from here. I mean, small boats go to fish, and I learned from smart fishing, and that was amazing. Smart farming, and this is what I took, that no matter how you small, you can have an impact on the planet. And this experience made me see everything very differently.
Yeah.
So
So
it
yeah, the
was
boot
very,
camps are aiming to have like a transformational
yeah,
and learning and helping all the like the participants also to approach a different like behavioral change in terms of how they in terms of their connection to the food system. And by visiting these local communities, you get an insight of how they tackled certain problems what they are facing in their little local context, and that problem
yes,
might
that's
be
true.
very similar to what Marettimo can experience. It is sure that you need to adjust these learnings to the local context, but
Yeah.
this is the added value of these boot camps, how to share these best practices and help each other to innovate together and share those ideas to come up with solutions which can be sustainable and also feasible.
Yes.
So you mentioned that your topic was climate smart oceans, and that was also planned to be the topic for
Yes,
Marettimo.
for
So
Marettimo.
exactly. So if you would need to explain how you see the food system or like in your local small community, how could you describe it? How does it work right now? How is the supply of food? How is fishing done? What could we expect? Like a little teaser for those who would like to join maybe later.
For here, the community is very small, so fishing isn't smart, but the food, I mean, you can buy fish very easily, and it's a fresh fish for sure. And meat isn't that available. But for instance, my parents have a small store here, and unfortunately, here in Marettimo, we don't have a lot of that camps. So farming, there aren't farms. There are no farms, but fish is the mostly affordable, and people go fish here. Everyone, I think, goes to fish here, so that's very easily to the provision of it.
I see. So how do you know approximately how many people live in the community in Marettimo at this time?
At this time, it's less than 150, I think, even though it's very difficult to say it because people stay at home. So,
Yeah.
and I came here just a few days ago, because before I was abroad, and then came back home, but I was in Trapani, the nearest city, as I was telling you, to Marettimo, and I came here just 2 days ago. So I didn't see everyone, but I think less than 150. While in summer we are much more,
Of
because
course.
also yes, people who have house here come here for summer. Uh,
Yeah.
it's different in summer. It's more lived. But
Nice.
This is my favorite part of the year because there are few people, and most of all you can really feel the connection with nature because
Yes.
it's just you and Marettimo itself.
Yeah, and I bet it has a lot to tell. You just
Yes,
have
it
to
has
kind
a
of
lot to tell.
listen, most probably. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it has a lot
Um,
to tell.
so, as you said, you are studying abroad and you studied international relations.
Yes.
Could you please tell us a bit about what are you busy with right now? What was your previous internship about, and what are your future plans?
Yeah, I studied foreign languages before, and
Mm-hmm.
then I became fascinated with international relations, and I moved to Belgium in Louvain-la-Neuve, where I'm actually studying and where I have another year. I will finish my master next year. It will be the year of the professional focus, which is in diplomacy and resolution and conflict resolution. My previous internship was with the Research Center for International Crisis. I am finishing it now, and next year it will be the last year, and I will have just another internship in Rome at the Embassy of Belgium in Italy. Then I hope it will be confirmed. I don't know yet
Okay,
because
so now it's public.
plans are
It has to go
changing.
as it has to be approved. Now too
Yeah.
many people hear it.
Yeah, but plans are changing for everyone, so I don't know. And then I don't have a clear option at the moment, but I hope to pursue it with in this path in this career. So I don't know, to work with for an international organization
Hmm.
or for the European Union. I don't still know, but I hope with the same values that I'm carrying right now.
Yes, for
So
sure. And so if you look at the things what you are studying, so diplomacy, and then you take the learnings from the boot camps or also whatever has started throughout the year since you attended the program, how do you see food or we as food shapers combined with diplomacy could actually solve solutions?
it actually exists and it's called food diplomacy.
Hmm.
I am not in the subject, but I think that the next generation really needs to combine farming, the food with technology in order not to impact our planet that much. And to combine it with sustainability, that's the only option that I mean, I'm in the field of conflict resolution, and but it doesn't matter how legitimate a conflict can be if our planet will die in a few decades. So that's really important that the young generation takes action, and it does with participation. So studying in the field and knowing what it's about.
Yeah. So now you have a view of a very small town in Italy and also a bigger city close by in South Italy. And then you have a view of a city life like Brussels in Belgium. So if you look at the food consumption and how people source their food, what are the main differences what you yourself had to face when you were trying to your
The biggest difference is that the maintenance of tradition. I mean, in small communities, there's still the desire to maintain the tradition that forces you to stay at home and cook. So if you can cook pasta at home, you can whatever you want. You have just go in the kitchen and do it. While in the city life, you maybe don't have time, or it's completely lost the custom of the tradition of doing it, and people instead buy it. So that's the main difference. They're lost in their tradition to cook. And that's important for also for sustainability, because I mean, what you cook is not the same thing compared to what you buy. So if you have time to do it, pasta would for instance would not be the same than the bought pasta. And I mean that's very important for our, maybe people don't know it, but it's very important for our planet also.
Yeah. And once you got more involved in how the environmental impact of your diet is, have you made different food choices yourself? Like you moved to Brussels and then you had a completely different like source of food, like supermarkets, markets, whatsoever. What did you start to pay more attention on?
I started to pay more attention on vegetables. Maybe now I pay more attention to the biological agriculture, to yes, fruits and vegetables most of all, and the provenience of meat.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because my family has a meat shop here, so I know that buying gross meat in gross markets isn't the same thing that buying it in small markets. You know the provenience of the meat, and you know how the meat grow. So
Yeah.
I don't remember the English for it. It's forced meeting, no, meeting.
I'm not sure. Maybe the mass production, what
Yes,
you
the mass
think?
production.
Okay.
Yes, the mass production of meat. So
Yeah.
that's what I pay attention to. The
Yeah.
provenience of fruit and vegetables. I try to home. It's very easy. We buy 0 kilometers in Trapani, and for the COVID restrictions above all, because as we couldn't move from a municipality to another, we bought vegetables and fruits to in agriculture, the agriculture man next to our house, and not in the supermarket.
Nice.
And
See, to
and
have access to that actually is a privilege nowadays.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
it
fact
is.
that you literally reduce that distance between where your food was grown and to your plate, basically, it's not
It is.
really possible for most of the people. Yeah.
Yes, it is. But because, for instance, in Brussels, I don't do it that often. Firstly, because it isn't very for me that accessible, because it's maybe too far. It's not
Hmm.
that close to university or my house, but also because it's more expensive. And as a student, I try to pay attention, but it depends on the cost also.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of
so
course.
I know that's the big difference.
Yeah, you have to be a bit more creative and maybe
Yeah,
spend more time on thinking how to cook and how to utilize
yeah.
the ingredients what you have. That's for
Hmm.
sure. It is not made easy for city dwellers to actually make conscious food choices without
Yeah,
spending a lot of research and reading and
yes,
planning and everything around it. And I don't say that they should not educate themselves, but maybe a lot of people give up after a very
yeah.
short time because it's just too much effort
That's true.
to put into their dinner.
That's true.
And yeah,
For me,
so
for instance, it's not a tradition. It's a custom. I don't know if it's because I'm Italian, but sometimes the weekend I cook pizza for me and my friends. Maybe because also Belgian pizza is different than the Italian one, and as I miss the Italian one, then I cook it myself.
I
But
see. Could you describe the Belgian pizza because I never.
okay, it's quite impossible. Imagine a pizza. Okay, the opposite.
All
No,
right, so there is no
no, no,
pizza.
no. Sometimes in Brussels there are a lot of good pizza shops from Italian, or sometimes pizza are different than Italian ones, but they still
It's
taste
tasty.
good. Yes, they
Okay.
still taste good.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's also the most important, that it has to taste good. It has to give you a
Yes,
certain level of comfort. And I think especially over the last few months, food has given comfort to a lot of people.
yeah,
You can also see how their activity and how they celebrated food and how they prepared food
yeah,
over the last few weeks and months. I'm really curious what will be the residue of this time in terms
me
of
too.
realizing you have a kitchen in your apartment and using it. And then once we get back to a different routine of life, how will that evolve?
Yeah.
So now we talked about how your consumption changed and so on. How would you imagine, what would you wish for yourself in the future in terms of the food system? What do you wish for should change
I
or get better or stay? Yeah.
I think it should get better. It depends on our choices. So I think it's upon us. It should get better for sure and improved with fresh products, better choices in our alimentation, in our diet diet choice, fruits, vegetables, meat, but we should carry more about food's provenience by 0 kilometers and um, try to spend those minutes more home and cook ourselves and without buying trash.
Yeah, definitely. So one more question I have, because I just remembered
Hmm.
that I saw you publishing a piece. It was part of your internship, I think, and you published a piece on LinkedIn recently,
Yeah.
which was your work. Could you please tell us a bit about that?
Which one? Data for Russia
Yes,
or democracy?
yes.
Okay. The fact that yeah, at the moment we are living a very bizarre situation, and each country affords it the way it can. At this very moment, there are a few countries which are not. I mean, hiding their COVID numbers, let's say, and that's quite the killing of our modern democracy, like the forgotten victim of the COVID. Also, the use of drones and all the technology the governments require to stop the pandemic. So that that is a very particular time that we are living, and this subject is really intense. Russia, for instance, is one of those, but also China, which is recurring to technology, and um, so for this reason, countries' numbers are very different from each other. When Italy was at the top, still before the United States, Russia was among the last one. That was because we can have the same meter of validation for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
well, I am also based in a country which most probably would be a very great example for this, but we are not going
where
into
are
that
you?
topic.
Where are
I'm
you?
based in Hungary right now.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. But this is
yeah.
not the place for these discussions.
Hmm.
I had positive experiences here, especially in terms of food and how community-driven action and sourcing can
Okay.
even pop up more and more. And you have rather these grassroots initiatives which are making sure that cities and people are fed
Yeah.
with nutritious and sustainable food. So that's
Hmm.
great.
And
And
food is great in Hungary. I love Hungarian food.
Yes, yes, I can also see that on my how my size, maybe clothes size was changing over the week because I haven't stayed here for so long, for a very long time. But indeed, we have a very, but maybe not as healthy diet as the Mediterranean.
But
Um,
me too at the moment. After the quarantine, I put on a few kilos. That's normal for
yes,
everyone, I think.
yes. All right, Marina, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you,
time
Yulia. Thank
and
you.
for giving
I
us all
hope
the
to see you
insights.
soon, to see you in
Yes,
Marettimo next year or before, I hope.
yes, I hope so
Then,
too. I hope so too. We will stay in touch. And
yeah.
for the audience, thank you so much for being with us today. Unfortunately, Instagram changed again some features, so we won't be able to leave this conversation available as a story for 24 hours, but
Mhm.
with a bit of an editing, they will slowly but surely, all of the conversations so far will appear on our IGTV, so please stay tuned. And our next conversation is on Thursday this week, 8:30 a.m. Central European Time. We are hosting one of the Future Food team members who is actually an alumna as well, but I'm not revealing the name yet. All right. Thank you so much, Marina. I
Thank you,
wish you a lovely
Yulia.
evening.
You, me too. Goodbye.
Ciao.
Ciao, Yulia.